welcome back to the Synergy Sanctum. My name is Justin. Thank you so much for stopping by. Here at the Synergy Sanctum, we specialize in all things related to Magic the Gathering, with a specific focus on deck building. So I aim to show you very quick deck text that'll show you all of the cards in the deck and how they work together to ultimately achieve the goals of that deck. If you're not already, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate that. And we also have a sister channel now, so head on over to Commander Coliseum and check out their content as well. And for today's deck tech, we have a Vorinclex Monstrous Raider EDH Planeswalker build. There are a ton of decks out there that have turned this Vorinclex into a Super Jerks type of deck, and this deck tech is inspired by those decks. Very, very competitive and scary deck play here. The goal here is to get Vorinclex out as quickly as possible, to have him survive until you have enough mana to cast one of the 17 Planeswalkers that we are running in the deck, because Vorinclex allows for those Planeswalkers to do their best ability right when they enter. So because it is not specific to +1 counters or anything else, it is just doubling up counters. Every single loyalty counter that gets put on a Planeswalker when they come in get doubled. So if they're coming in at 5, they're actually coming in at 10, which then lets you utilize their ultimate ability without having to wait the several turns to get that done. So TCG market value of this deck is $714 to $952. The land count we are running is 33 because we are in green, so we are not going to have or run into issues with lands. 24 of those being forests and 9 of those being non-basics. So to get us started today, we have the Planeswalkers that are the kind of the better ones to get out of the deck. So if you have one of these in your hand and you have Vorinclex out, you're going to get each of their respective emblems the second that they come in. So Vivian Reed's emblem says that creatures you control got +2 vigilance, trample, and indestructible. Nissa, who shakes the world, is making your lands indestructible, but she's also letting you get out all of the forests from the deck on that alt ability. Pretty broken. Nissel Vital Force says when a land enters, you can draw a card. Garruk Caller of Beast says when you cast a creature spell, you get to tutor out another creature. And then Garruk Unleashed says at the beginning of your end step, you may search your library for a creature card and put it onto the battlefield and then shuffle. And then the two on the bottom here, while they don't have emblems, their last abilities are pretty broken. So Ugin specifically lets you gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, and then put up to 7 permanent cards from your hand onto the battlefield. And FYI, Planeswalkers are permanent cards, so you get to just keep going on that engine. And then Renin 7 says it has the recursion for the ultimate, so you get to return all permanents from your graveyard to your hand, and then actually you are getting an emblem with Renin 7. You're getting no max hand size for the rest of the game, so that's a solid one too. Additional Planeswalkers in the deck. Garruk Wildspeaker is here kind of for the early game before we get Vorinclex out. He doesn't have a ton of benefits off of ulting right away. Plus, he can ult after a single turn cycle. Garruk Savage Herald is letting your creatures get through off of his ult. Garruk Primal Hunter is letting you put in a 6/6 worm creature token for each land you control. Hecka scary. Freyalise is letting you draw for each green creature you control. Nissa World Waker is letting you search for those forests and put them out, and they're becoming 4/4 elemental creatures with trample. Nissa Genesis Wave is letting you look at the top 10 cards, and you can put any number of creature or lands from on them onto the battlefield, so super broken here. Nissa Voice of Zendikar, you're gaining X life and drawing X cards, where X is equal to your lands. Nissa Nature's Artisan is letting your creatures get boosted and get trample. Vivian Nature's Avenger is just giving a single creature trample and a huge boost, so that's probably going to Vorinclex. And then Vivian of the Arcbow is giving the boost to everybody in the trample. So just really, really consistent and scary green stuff here. And we know that with Vorinclex, he's doubling season on a creature, so there is some +1 counter synergies as well that we can go into. Defiler of Vigor, every time you cast a green permanent, everyone's getting a counter. Karn's Bastion's letting you proliferate those counters as well as the Planeswalker ones. We have doubling season, because why not? We already have it on our commander. Let's put it in the deck. Bristly Bill Spine Sour, one of the newer releases in the last few years, along with Railway Brawler. Both of those are doing crazy counter stuff. Yorva, Lord of Garenbrig, is getting counters off of creatures coming in, so he ends up being a pretty big dude as well. Vigor prevents the damage and adds the counters. Forgotten Ancient's getting counters, and you can move them off of every spell. And then Ancient Bronze Dragon and Pure Imaginative Rascal as well for those counter synergies. So we kind of talked about this at the beginning. It is very, very important that Vorinclex stays alive, especially long enough for him to be able to ult a Planeswalker. So we're running all of the cantrips in green that are instant speed, that ultimately protect your creature. So a lot of giving hexproof or shroud, you can't be targeted, or giving indestructible. We've got Yavimaya Hollow in the deck to regenerate him as well. Heroic Intervention for everybody to get saved, and then Sylvan Safekeeper can protect him at the cost of a land, which again we're in green so we don't care about. The mana base here is pretty significant because we do want to be able to get Vorinclex out quickly. So we are running a Soul Ring. We're running all of the Mana Dork Elves that we have, as well as Delighted Halflings. That's got the additional benefit of preventing Vorinclex from getting countered. Karamitsu's Acolytes equal to your Devotion to Green. Exploration's getting you an additional land. Emerald Medallions discounting, and then we've got the doublers with the original Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger, Nyx Bloom Ancient, and Vernal Bloom, which all basically turn all of your lands into doublers or triplers, and then the Great Henge as well, because why not? So, good stuff in the deck. A lot of those Planeswalkers are tutoring creatures out, and we want to have big, scary green creatures to bring in. So, Old Gnawbone fits that description. He is getting you treasures off of every damage that gets to a player. Allrain Frostfang and Toski are getting you draws off of combat damage. Apex Devastator is disgusting in this deck with 4 Cascade triggers, and at 10 mana, that's pretty much guaranteeing a Planeswalker coming in. Allosaurus Shepherds giving us protection from counters. Genesis Wave, I would argue this is the most broken deck to put a Genesis Wave in, because you're going to ultimately get more and more Planeswalkers out and more ultimate abilities. But most people scoop when I play this deck. I don't get to play it very often. And then we've got some board control with Neverill's Disc, Nature's Claim. Riskar Expertise is letting you draw, then cast a spell for 5 or less, which a lot of Planeswalkers fall in there. Avenger of Zendikar for the landfall and all of the extra creatures. And then even more good stuff. So really broken green stuff here. Sylvan Library is getting you the additional draws every turn. Reki is getting you draws off of legendary spells, but each Planeswalker is legendary. We've got Defense of the Heart in case people are outpacing us. Bane of Progress to deal with artifacts and enchantments. Worldly Tutor to go find something. Azuri's Predation to kind of board wipe a bit. Kodama of the East Tree doubles up your permanents entering because you can add an additional one. Beast Whisperers letting you draw off of creatures, and then one final win con in the deck with Triumph of the Hordes. So gives all your creatures +1/+1, trample, and infect to ultimately end the game if people are still playing after you've ulted all of these Planeswalkers. And with that, our show has come to an end. Thank you so much for watching our video, and if you enjoyed that video, feel free to share it out with any friends who might find value in it as well. Thank you so much for stopping by. We hope to see you again soon. Have a good one.